Alright guys, who broke the robot?
Hello everyone, I'm a broken robot. So today I did something that I haven't done since I was at least 12 years old. I was looking to visit my local card shop since on the day of this video script being written, the new Pokemon card set had come out. And I always prefer to shop at small mom and pop hobby stores over places like Walmart or Target, but unfortunately my favorite local card store was closed for the day, and I was still eager to get my hands on some new Pokemon cards, since the only thing that can bring a spark to my cold, rusted robotic heart are colorful 3-inch pieces of card stock. Tangent aside, I ended up deciding to drive out to my local dead mall that some of you might recall from a video I did earlier in the year, and I took a look at GameStop, one of the few remaining stores still open in the mall. While it had been years since the last time I had set foot inside of this location, it was almost entirely unrecognizable. No retro games in sight. Collectibles and other mass-produced Chinese plastic covered more of the store shelves than video games, and worst of all, when it came down to it, they didn't even have the Pokemon cards I was looking for, because according to a nice worker I chatted with, the store's manager stopped ordering Pokemon cards because they had run out of space in the back to store it. I also was planning on trading in some old games I was looking to part ways with, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. The point I want to make from this story is just what the heck went wrong. How did GameStop go from being the premier game store in North America that was famous for midnight release parties and putting the mom and pop game stores out of business to being the laughingstock of gamer culture? So much to a point that many people online are actively cheering the slow and depressing collapse of GameStop's once thriving chain of video game stores. In today's video, I've broken down the biggest reasons why GameStop is failing to stay alive in the modern age of retail. Please keep in mind that for this video, the majority of my research was done by talking with people on r/GameStop, GameStop employees at my local store, and major media articles on the company. So if I've missed any of the reasons that you and your friends dislike GameStop, feel free to leave a comment down below. The first and easily most well-known reason why GameStop has been on a slow, painful decline since 2014 is because physical stores everywhere have seen a significant drop in sales. Whether it's models, yarn, or antique furniture, all brick-and-mortar stores have been hit hard by the online sales. But when it comes to an industry like video games, it's gonna be an uphill battle from the start. Online game purchases were first started by the 7th generation of consoles, but didn't really get off the ground until the PS4 and Xbox One hit the scene. From 2015 and onwards, it became more and more easier for consumers to simply turn on the gaming console they already owned, and buy a game virtually to forego the task of driving out to the store in the first place. While some retail chains like Best Buy and FYE adapted by temporarily lowering the prices for physical copies of new games, GameStop seemingly ignored the problem, with some employees online still claiming that GameStop is stuck in the past. Things that used to be iconic to GameStop, like midnight release parties and demo consoles, have been shoved to the side, where unpopular moves like selling overpriced collectibles and NFTs have been the only major corporate changes underwent that some could argue have done more harm to the company than good, showing that GameStop is truly stuck in the past, but in all the worst ways. While many online have said that GameStop would function better as a collectibles store or a retro gaming store, GameStop's corporate sector has done just that, but instead pulled their company in so many directions that it can't even stand in the market anymore. Even an outdated model of robot like myself can tell that GameStop's own image has dissolved, with games no longer being the focus, but there being no clear focus at all, with things like collectibles, trading cards, and other gamer merch being put on a pedestal by the corporate sector. But because GameStop sells the same crap you can buy at Walmart or Target, why would the average Joe go to GameStop when they can buy the same generic Kirby t-shirt the next time they're shopping at Walmart? GameStop's failure to adapt to the changing market, and then their failure to properly change their company's image and only do it halfway, has come back to truly bite them in the rear, leading most people to be even surprised that GameStop is still operating in 2023, due to just how forgettable the brand's image is now. This brings me to my next point, and probably something most of you in the audience can relate to. GameStop is infamous for not only having horrible customer support, but known for having naggy and often unhappy employees. Don't take this the wrong way. I've been firmly educated by GameStop employees in person and online that most of the things I'm going to talk about in this segment are required by the company, and employees can be fired for things as simple as not reaching a pre-order goal. From what I've been told online, GameStop managers are basically taught by the corporate sector that they need to treat their store as if it was a used car lot, and every one of their employees must be trained to have the charisma of Saul Goodman at all times. In reality though, this comes off as pushy and annoying. For instance, today when I walked into my local GameStop, it was just me and 2 other employees. I walked through the door and immediately I was bombarded with employees asking me questions. I politely told the workers that I was just looking to take a look at the trading cards and that I would ask them if I had any questions. But they continued to ask me things like, "Are you a rewards member? Looking to pre-order anything today? Can I look up your PowerUp Rewards member account?" Speaking of GameStop's rewards programs, avoid them like the plague. All it does is get you vague discounts on products that you probably aren't even interested in, and all it does is further encourage GameStop to continue training their employees to be mindless pre-order drones. Ironically enough, the only reason that I'm a PowerUp Rewards member is so that I can pull out my card, hand it to the employee, let them scan it, and the worker will leave me alone and shut up. Today when I tried to purchase some Pokemon cards, the employee asked if I was a reward member, and I handed him my card and jokingly said that I had forgot that I even had the card, and that I only had it so employees would stop nagging me to become a rewards member. Well, let's just say that the employee didn't like my remark, which brings me to my next point. Despite it being common knowledge that the used car salesman routine is forced onto employees by the corporate sector, sometimes the insane goals pushed by corporate makes employees and franchisees do shady practices that only harm the customer base, which inevitably comes back to harm GameStop's reputation. Now, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer. The majority of this information is coming from fellow YouTuber Camelot331 in his video series on what it's like to be an employee at GameStop, so go check him out if you want some of the finer details. Anyway, if you've been in the GameStop since quarantine ended, there's a pretty good chance that you've paid for something without knowing it. While GameStop is known for pushing hard on things like pre-orders and reservation sales, one area where they can go behind the customers' backs is with warranties. A warranty is usually only reserved for big-ticket items like game consoles or bulk game sales, but in 2023, GameStop will try and attach a warranty fee onto anything from a used video game to a keychain. I bring this up because just yesterday when I tried to purchase an Elite Trainer box of Pokemon cards, when I checked the receipt there was a $3.99 upcharge for a warranty. When I turned around and walked back into the store and asked the employee what this was about, I told him that I never agreed to pay for one, and he said with the most honest look on his face that because I didn't verbally say that I didn't want a warranty, it's store policy to automatically attach one to any item no matter what the product is. My brother and robotic Christ, why would anybody buy a warranty on something that they're just going to open up and use? Am I gonna come back with my open packs of Pokemon cards and ask for new ones because they didn't have the cards in them I wanted? Also, why would you even want a warranty on a sealed collectible? The warranty is only good for 2 years. Are you just gonna wait 2 years and then decide to open up your Pokemon cards? But in all seriousness, from both Camelot331's videos and my own interviews with Redditors, I learned that many locations will prey upon children and non-English speaking customers into upgrading warranties. Employees will say things like, "Oh, I'm gonna add a warranty to keep this safe," or "I'll throw in a warranty so your game doesn't get destroyed," but fail to acknowledge that there is a choice in the matter, and more importantly, the warranty isn't free. The shady business doesn't stop at their pushy sales goals though. A new scam that GameStop runs is over-ordering stock of brand new game releases for any of the modern consoles. They'll then unseal the new copies and put them into gross manila folders and throw away the boxes, that way they'll be able to hold 3 times the stock. Now you might be saying, "Broken robot, you fool. They have to sell it as a used game if they unseal the packaging." And if this was a normal company, I'd say yes, you're right, but nope. There are multiple documented cases across North America of GameStop locations charging you a fee of a brand new game only to give you what is essentially a used copy. While on paper it's a new copy of a game since its URL code can be linked back to the original box, I don't care what planet you're from. It's no longer a new game the second you break that seal. Also, while it's well known that GameStop's trade-in bonuses and values have always been small, they have nearly shrunk by 2/3 in recent years. With a brand new copy of an Xbox game having a trade-in value of about $16 in 2017, and now having a trade-in value of about $4.33 as of 2023 according to BuzzFeed's independent blog post documenting GameStop's decline. This brings me to what I was saying earlier in the video. Today, the only thing that made me go to GameStop was desperation and the need to get rid of some old Xbox 360 games. I had a shopping bag full of about 40 games ranging from AAA to shovelware, and while I wasn't expecting a big payout, I knew GameStop rips off their own customers on trade-ins, but I was looking to make a quick sale and hopefully break even on a purchase of some Pokemon cards. Well, my dear viewer, in my trade-in I had exactly 43 Xbox 360 games ranging in value, with their boxes and manuals, 2 iPhone 8s, one with a cracked screen keep in mind, 6 Xbox One games, one of which was brand new and sealed, and finally an old PS2 game that I forgot I even owned. Well, guess how much they offered me for it all? Go ahead, guess a number in your head. Offered me $11.73. Despite GameStop claiming to buy and sell retro games, they won't touch anything from the 5th, 6th, or 7th generation of consoles, with half of the Xbox 360 games I brought in not being able to be traded in. GameStop won't touch these kinds of games with a 10-foot pole because they know that there isn't much of a market demand for it. What they will buy from you, however, though, is games from the GameCube and PS1 era or earlier, because those titles can be flipped for lots of money, but they can still offer their rock-bottom trade-in payouts for them anyway. The worst part is that while myself and other trade-in customers aren't expecting big payouts, the recent downsizing of GameStop's payouts are downright criminal. Here are 4 games that I tried to trade in, and here's what GameStop was willing to pay me for them. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City sells for $40 on average on eBay used. GameStop offered me $1.44. Red Dead Redemption 2 sells for $32 used on eBay. GameStop offered me $2.37 for it. Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition sells for about $38 on eBay. GameStop offered me $3.21. Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PS2 sells for about $15 on average. GameStop offered me 58 cents for it. Now keep in mind all these prices are based off August 11th, 2023. Overall, between unfair business practices and downright criminal store policies, no one wants to go to GameStop anymore for a good reason, which brings me to the final point of this video. GameStop is no longer a good deal for consumers. GameStop is no longer a viable option for people looking to sell and trade video games. And GameStop no longer even sells games that are older than 2014. So what does GameStop have anymore? Well, this might be hard to believe, but a small but loud core customer base of GameStop barflies, gamer nerds that just never really leave the store and just kinda hang out all day, are really what's keeping the ship from completely capsizing. This might be hard to believe if you were born anytime after 2008, but there really was a time when GameStop was not only a popular store for gamers, but a popular hangout spot for customers and employees alike to discuss, play, and talk about video games and other pop culture references. Things like the midnight release parties and the local gaming tournaments that happened weekly helped GameStop build a culture of loyal customers that saw GameStop as not only a great store, but a great hangout spot. If you look at images of old GameStop store layouts online, you'll see multiple demo consoles, sitting areas for customers to sit and play trading card games, and most importantly, there was no Funko Pop section taking up half the store. GameStop butchered their small town appeal around 2011 for a small chance at mass appeal and completely failed to stick the landing. Today in 2023, GameStops are more uninviting than ever, and even if you try to strike up a friendly conversation with an employee, you can just tell that they're waiting to try and pitch you a new bogus game offer or convince you to sign up for some BS magazine subscription. The worst part about this entire situation is that it really wouldn't be that difficult for GameStop to reinvent their image. In the age of TikTok and post-pandemic loneliness, young people are practically begging for an excuse to get out of the house. Maybe GameStop could start hosting trade nights and invite TCG players into the stores. Maybe GameStop could bring back the midnight release parties that were free with a pre-order stub. Or GameStop could do something as simple as setting up a table and chair with a demo Nintendo Switch, which would be more than enough to get Gen Zers and millennials back into their stores. Unfortunately for now though, GameStop is more focused on selling NFTs and trying to charge their customers $49.95 for a game that goes for $15 on eBay. But anyways, that's my take on why GameStop is a dying company that in all honesty is lucky that they've made it this far in the first place. But what do you guys think? Do I not give GameStop enough credit, or are they really the mafia organization that the internet makes them out to be? I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something new, or at least found it entertaining. Take a moment to leave a like to help me out in the YouTube algorithm, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that way you don't miss my future video essays, reviews, and general commentary videos on whatever topic of the week piques my interest. I hope you all have a great day, avoid GameStop like the plague, and stay cool.